No one wanted to say anything about the fact that there was no audio on this. Chat. Is anyone's head in the game tonight? Is it just me here? This is what it was supposed to sound like. Robbie, I'm blaming you, dude. This is what it was supposed to sound like. You know what I mean? We got a whole thing here. Got a whole intro going on. Chat, I'm putting up a poll for the entirety of this live stream. We're gonna figure out whether or not this should be the de facto new intro. Well, I'm glad you're here, Canna. Thank you. Like the intro? That was just your old ass iPad. Intro is a little trippy. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. It's very, you know what it is? It's very polarizing. People either really love it or people really hate it. So I got to figure. I'll find a middle ground maybe. I mean, obviously I can't please everybody. You know, I had two people vocally unsubscribed to my channel today, so I'm not gonna be able to please everybody. But I do want to get as many people happy as humanly possible. If that's a reality. Chat. I gotta tell you, man. This isn't connecting. This will never connect. And over here, this will never connect, right? But it looks kind of good, little scruffy. I think I look all right, little scruffy. It'll go down to a mustache probably next week. As we raise money for Movember, if you guys are not donating yet, make sure you are. It's right there, actually, in the chat. Anyways, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Red Seat live stream. Our last one before we get into legitimate free agency, right? What is it, tomorrow? I think I did my math wrong on my post earlier today. Someone pointed that out. I tried to do the math another time. I still came up with Friday being the day, but whatever. Tomorrow, the day after, free agency will officially open up. Who do we got in here tonight? Christian's in here. Shane, my man, in here. Butt Munch, how you doing? My moderator, Robbie's in here. Canna, Maximino, Steven. How we doing today? Bama, what's going on? Never leaving? I appreciate you, Bama. Thank you. Thank you. We'll love it. Don't change. I assumed you were going low key until you were ready to get it going. Yeah, so I'm kind of like, I don't want to, like, if we just do mustache now, it's kind of gross, right? But if we wait like a week or so, it's not going to be, it's still going to be gross, but it's not going to be as gross. 3:30 comes early. That is a crazy wake up time, my friend. I am sorry. Blue Jays hit major bad luck on a few plays in the World Series. Feel bad for them. Yeah, it was a dude that last, like, the ball getting stuck in the, what was that, the sixth game? That was brutal, dude. That was brutal. And then, you know, like the final game of that World Series, it felt like there were so many times where it was just like the Blue Jays could have won it so many times and just didn't, you know. But you got to hand it to the Dodgers, man. Dude, as much as we crap on the Dodgers, they are doing what every team in Major League Baseball should be doing. You know what I mean? They should legitimately the Red Sox should be putting together a team that looks like the Dodgers. You know, like that is what Major League Baseball teams should be. That is how you take advantage of no salary cap. Is you just keep investing. How much money do you think the Dodgers have made with even with their astronomical payroll? It's probably way more than the Red Sox made, and it's because they have a higher factor. I mean, I think Baseball Reference has their like wrap up page on right now, and I got to show you guys something because this shocked me. Look at this. Look at this right here. So. This is the most time spent on any page this entire season. Look at every other most watched, right? Home run records page had a ton. Look at the Dodgers team page. Over 1 million minutes. Over 1 million minutes. How many hours is that? 1.5 million minutes to hours. There's 25,000 hours. That is 1,000 days altogether just on the LA Dodgers baseball reference page. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, this is all it was. $5 super chat from Bay Sox Bombs. Bay Sox, thank you so much. I'm going to bring this down, actually. Oh, I missed it. I'll put that more in the middle. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. I appreciate you, man. Said Red Sox bring back Breggy, sign Alonso, and trade for Joe Ryan is ideal offseason. I would say, yeah. I think a lot of Red Sox fans would be happy with that. I think low key, I would add a reliever in there, preferably a left-handed reliever. But beggars can't be choosers. You can always make some of your depth a reliever too. You know what I mean? Like, if you get another starting pitcher, a lot of people are like, I've been talking about kind of like quietly, hey, we should probably get a reliever in there with Justin Wilson and Steven Matz going to free agency. But like, if you could turn, a Conley Early or Kyle Harrison or Peyton Tolley into a dominant reliever for a year and then bring him, find a spot for him in the rotation, like, I'm all right with that too, But I appreciate the $5 super chat. I appreciate it, George. Guys, I don't think the salary cap is like a necessary evil for Red Sox for baseball. I really don't, right? I think it's what separates this league from a lot of other leagues in baseball. I would be shocked, Bama. I'd be shocked. I don't think Mookie regrets going to the Dodgers at all. I don't think he regrets it one bit. Man, I'm just giving out free advertisements here, huh? What's up, man? Glad we're talking about pitching. The stars align and we grab Scuba. What does that mean for 26? So there are a few things I want to talk about in today's video. There was a new player added to the. I'm gonna pop a cough drop, by the way. Just a heads up. Still a little sick. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, yeah, so there are a few things that we're going to be talking about today. First thing is a new free agent that I think the Red Sox should absolutely at least look into. The second one is a free agent that I've seen, like, I can't substantiate it by any means, and it's just sort of a gut feeling, but feels like a guy that we haven't talked about yet that I think the Red Sox could be interested in. And then obviously we have to address the Scooble conversations, because to me, I still don't think it's very likely, but we'll talk about them. Where do you guys want to start? You think deferred money needs to be addressed? See, this is where I think the conversation of the salary cap really takes place, right? Because I don't think there's ever going to be a hard cap on Major League Baseball. I don't, because again, I think it really separates Major League Baseball from a lot of other professional sports, and they know that. Right? It's what makes the offseason so intriguing. Any team can sign any player at any point. You can't really do that in other sports because, hey, 70% of these teams aren't going to be willing to go above or at the luxury tax threshold. Or the salary cap threshold. But things like, do we talk about deferred money? Do we talk about, how many Japanese players you're allowed to allocate funds to? Right, I think there's gonna be some conversations from a lot of owners about it. So where do you guys want to start? Still have not missed a video or stream. If Dodgers are willing, Alex Vesia trade, they're not gonna be willing to do that. Their bullpen wasn't great last year. I mean, they still won a World Series, so it's like, well. But he was a major highlight. I don't think $2 super chat from Bay Sox. He didn't want to wait long enough. He did not want to wait for me to get to it. Yeah, as much as this would be like a perfect addition to the Red Sox, I just don't see the Dodgers parting with this guy. When the bullpen was literally their one weakness, right? You could build around a guy like Vesia. Nizan Donatello for Paul Skeens. I'm in. Paredes. Yeah, Paredes for sure. But Paredes isn't left-handed. I think they need another sort of high leverage lefty in there. I mean maybe they have faith in Bernardino and Murphy, How do I feel about the extension of Durant? I've said it. I said it yesterday. I'll say it today, and I'll say it tomorrow. I don't get it. I don't get what the idea was. I don't get it from Durant's side of point of view. I don't get it from the Red Sox point of view. The only thing that made sense to me was versatility. Made a comment that it was like, that there were escalators, there were payouts within the 2026 contract if he was traded. There were escalators in the 2026 contract before this one that would have made it more. It would have made it closer to like $10 or $12 million. This leaves it as a flat, this is what it is, and it can only go up by $75K, so it might make it a little bit easier to trade. But then I still don't get it from the Jaren Durant side. Like, why would you give up that money? If I'm Durant and I'm sitting there and the Red Sox are like, look, we're not going to pick up your club option, but we're going to offer you this. That's like $300,000 smaller with no escalators, or I guess $75,000 in escalators. I'm sitting there going, no, bring me to an arbiter. Arbiter? Is that the right word? Arbiter? Arbiterator? You guys know what I'm saying here. And let them decide, right? That would be my point of view. So I like to me, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't get it, I guess, would be the answer. I think a cap is insane. I agree. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it makes baseball too unique. And I think both sides understand that. I am curious though, because we know it's going to be a push. We know people are going to try for a salary cap. I'm curious to see where it ends up, right? I don't think it'll be a true hard salary cap, but is it going to be something like all of a sudden that third luxury tax threshold is a lot more impactful than it is now, even though it is still pretty impactful if you stay up there for a little bit. I suspect Durant might welcome a trade if he's more likely to get offered an extension elsewhere. $350 million for Skeens. We can't just offer him money, brother. You gotta trade talent. I'll get to the Scooble conversation in a second because we do have to talk about it. The thing is, like, let me lay down some things with Durant, right? As much as Durant is the talent that he is, and he's still a good baseball player, I think, there's been and this drives me crazy, is that sometimes there's like players who not transcend statistics, but in some ways do, right? He's built up, and a lot of it, they're the weirdos out there, but a lot of it is because, this guy takes time out of his life to make sure that he is relating to this fan base. And I think that a lot of people start to really grow an emotional attachment to a guy like that. But when you talk about, okay, so if he gets traded, he's going to end up getting some sort of, bigger extension package because of that. My thought is if you are a team and you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, so he's already locked in for 26 at $7 million, or 7.8 basically $1 million, which is about $600,000 below what he was originally supposed to get. Right? And he's not a free agent until 2029, which means you have him locked up this year, you have him locked up next year, you have him locked up the year after that, and then he's a free agent, right? To me, if you're, especially because they're not going to trade him to the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Mets or whoever, most likely if they do trade him, right, it's going to be to Tigers or Reds or, potentially a Twins kind of thing, kind of conversation. Those type of teams might sit there and say, well, why would we give him 5-6 years when we could just hold on to him to 3? He gets into his age, he'll be 31 by the time he's a free agent, right? Like, why would we give him the money? So I don't know if that's truly the case here. I'm sorry, Chad. Hold on a second. I thought I muted my mic. I apologize. Robbie's so funny, dude. Already saw a tweet about Alex Bregman. Can't handle this again for another offseason. What was the Alex Bregman tweet? It's got to be like, all right, well, if that's the answer, that cannot be the answer, right? This I don't think is super accurate. Hey, Warwagon, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, can't wait to see you either. There it is, Jim Bowden. So Jim Bowden's been kind of at the top of everything, huh? I mean, this is interesting. And again, we've had this conversation 100 times, right, on this channel. This isn't a new conversation or new information. I'm not sure they'll be willing to commit to Bregman on a long-term contract at his market price. Now to me, I don't think that's true. I think when you're talking long term, you're talking 6 or 7 years, right? If you're talking 4, 5, potentially even 6 years, I think the Red Sox say yes to that. Now, what I've always said and what I will continue to say is, like, you go out there and the Red Sox already, I guarantee it, have the max, right? You have to. There has to be a limit right here where the Red Sox just aren't going to go over, right? If a team like Xander Bogaerts with the Padres is a perfect example, and I keep bringing it up because it's a leader, it's a guy who was producing at the plate. It's a similar situation. The only difference is Xander was the heart and soul of the Red Sox. Naturally, Bregman kind of took it over artificially, and then it became sort of a natural thing. Right? This is really the only difference here. But you're telling me that between the CBA and how many teams were close this year but weren't, like you're going to see a grandfather offer, I bet. I agree with that, Robbie. Like Daniel here, just to be clear, as much as we all don't want Nolan Arenado, which is true, I don't want Nolan Arenado. That's probably what Bregman's going to look like in 2 or 3 years. I just don't think so. Like you compare Arenado and Bregman. I don't like. Like I'm sorry, but I just don't see him getting down to this, like, league average bat, but way below league average bat this year. I just don't see it. Right? Even the difference is with Bregman and Arenado is they both been big, like, non-strikeout guys, but Arenado's always had this innate ability for pull side power. Bregman kind of peppers the ball all over the field. He's a contact forward type guy who can hit for power, right? And I think that's the difference. Not that Arenado can't do that, right? In his prime, he was one of the greatest. He was one of the greatest third basemen ever. I mean, look at that. That's absurd, right? But like I feel like Bregman has a better chance at retaining his contact because his bat speed's faster. So I don't think that's necessarily true, but it's definitely an interesting conversation. When do you think Bregman gets signed by Christmas? Yeah, I'm not sure Bregman's in this free agency right now to get the best possible deal. I think he ends up in this free agency to just get the deal he's looking for. And whoever gives him the deal that he's looking for, which is essentially, I want to play with this team until I retire. And the dude's 31, right? You give him a 5-year deal, he's going to be 36 by the end of it. Which ultimately isn't like terribly old, right? It's certainly not young either, but it's not terribly old. It's not like you're signing this guy till he's 40, which is what the Padres did with Xander Bogaerts. But it's still, it's definitely not the prime of his career, which is like here, right? But yeah, do I think he gets signed by Christmas though? Chad, I haven't been coughing much all night, and then all of a sudden I get on stream and I'm just coughing away. Maybe it's because I'm talking so much. I haven't talked this much today. Um, 165 for Bregman. I would do that. I would do that 100%. Anything below 200 for 5 years for Bregman, I think's worth it. Do I think Campbell will be up for 2026? Yeah. So my idea for Campbell, Christian Campbell, is that he's going to be sort of a utility man for the 2026 season until either he plays himself into a my God, I'm dying over here. Until either he plays himself into a long-term position somewhere, or they find either somebody gets injured or they trade him. Campbell is a trade piece. I could see them floating him out there. The problem is he's under contract for a long time, and I don't know. Maybe drink water. I'm definitely drinking water. It's just not really helping. I think Bregman has a similar mindset to Ortiz. 5 or 6 years before retiring, people were wondering if he was washed up. But David Ortiz. This is what you'd be getting, right? Being this time, this area here. I mean, dude, David Ortiz is just a freak of nature, right? Well, this 2012 season that no one talks about. Only played 90 games, that's probably why, but good Lord. You know what I mean? David Ortiz is just a freak of nature. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about, which we're 24 minutes into stream, and we have not talked about one single thing that I had on the docket today. But now this is Buster only. He's gone to the Mets. This is the part that drives me crazy. But so Buster only today put out that the Tigers sound like they're going to be willing to listen on Tariq Skubal. And he named 3 teams. He named the Mets, the Mariners, which I found was super interesting, and then the Red Sox. Now, I've kind of talked about Skubal before. I mean, obviously the talent, he's gonna win it. He's gonna win his second Cy Young in a row, right? He's gonna win it. He's gonna win the second one in a row. I mean, the dude was an absolute nutcase this season. This is his second year in a row throwing close to 200 innings. And then he threw, another 30, 40 innings in the playoffs. So, we this is a dude who would, imagine Crochet and Skubal back-to-back in the rotation. You'd have by far and away, the best rotation in Major League Baseball. If it was Crochet, Skubal, Bayo, let's say Dobbins and Early, dude, that'd be nuts. Even with Dobbins and Early struggling a bit in their sophomore seasons, you still have Bayo would probably be, I mean, he was a top, before September, he was a top 10, 15-ish pitcher in terms of ERA in the American League. Then you get the 2 best. It's okay, yeah, that's going to beat anybody's. But my biggest problem with Skubal, is this, right? So we know for a fact that the Tigers probably aren't going to be able to get to a point with Skubal that they're going to be able to extend him long term, right? I mean, dude, they offered less than $100 million on a deal. That's crazy. Right? That's insane. They offered 4 years, $80 million. And I don't know why they did that, but that's what they're doing. So the question everyone's asking is, if you were to be traded to a team, would you be able to extend him, right? If you were to offer, if the Red Sox were to trade him over, just like Eric's is saying right here, right? If you were to offer him that 10-year, $440 million contract, which would sign him through his age 38 season. So you'd have him till he's 40 years old. Would he take it? My answer would be probably not, right? My answer would be no. I don't think he would. I mean, the dude is so close to free agency. He's seeing what, Yamamoto got without touching the league. He saw what Snell got, and he's better than Blake Snell. He just saw what Juan Soto had, and Juan Soto's probably the best talented hitter in Major League Baseball, especially for his age, right? In terms of what it would cost, you're probably talking about Marcelo for sure. Marcelo for sure. Although, that could go any way. I say Don, I think, would be appealing. I honestly think you'd have to trade both these guys. And then you'd have to throw in a really solid pitcher like Clark. Like, this is probably, and you're sitting there saying, Corbin, that's way too much. Guys, you got to remember, Tariq Skubal is the best pitcher outside of Paul Skeens in Major League Baseball. And Paul Skeens probably isn't going to get put on the market, at least not yet. Right? It is very rare that a 2-time Cy Young winner is put on the market for anybody. You definitely wouldn't have to trade. I don't think you'd have to trade Roman Anthony. If Tariq Skubal had... If Tariq Skubal had like 2 years of control, I think you're putting Roman Anthony in that conversation. 1 year of control, it bumps down just a little bit. But I do think that this is about what you would offer, and wouldn't have them hanging up the phone. Right? So my question with Skubal is, yes, the Red Sox have the resources to go and get him. They absolutely do. But is it worth it? Right? Is it worth it? Is Tariq Skubal going to sign an extension that's worth $400 million with the Red Sox with Scott Boras as his client? Don't forget that. Scott Boras is this guy's agent. So don't forget that part of it. Are they going to come in here and one, there are two questions, right? Are the Red Sox going to be willing to offer $400 million? And two, is Scott Boras going to let Tariq Skubal sign that extension? Not that this guy could sit there and say, my client will never sign this, I'm not going to do it. True, we did have Corey Kluber. Did Corey Kluber win 2 Cy Youngs? But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if the first name the Tigers put up there is Roman Anthony available, My God, Chad, am I going to make it through the stream? I might drop dead here. When I got off stream last week, Chad, I was like, oh man, I don't feel good. My my temperature went up to like 103 in like 2 hours. Can they make the trade contingent on an extension? So that doesn't really happen very often in Major League Baseball. I've seen that a few times. Like this Google AI is just not right? Like, that's just not true. Luis Robert was not a trade then signed. Neither was Corbin Carroll. Trades with extensions. Yes, give me one. Nolan Arenado, but he was already extended. Sonny Gray was already extended. What about Dylan Cease? I really like Dylan Cease. I would be for the Red Sox signing Dylan Cease. I just personally, I don't know if the Red Sox are going to get like here's the thing with the Red Sox, right? I think the Red Sox are going to be aggressive. I think the Red Sox have a list, and it's a fat list, and that's what they want. We have not seen the Red Sox truly outbid a baseball team in a long time, right? We've seen them make the risky trade with Crochet, and that worked out incredibly well, especially with that extension that they got. We've seen them maneuver a deal to the point where it becomes, the best deal on the market with Bregman. But we haven't seen them go out there and just balls to the wall, money on the table type conversation that, you're taking a giant risk on. Like Bregman was a risk a bit, but Bregman really wasn't a risk, right? I mean, maximum you had this guy here for 3 years. They did outbid the Tigers last offseason, but again, maybe. But I don't think they so much outbid the Tigers as they did out manipulate the contract. Does that make sense? They had a smarter deal. They'll just go for someone like Alcantara. I really hope the Red Sox, if they're going to trade for a starter, don't go to Sandy. Like, I really don't. Like, I get it, dude's ceiling's incredible. I mean, you get these, especially these 2 years, right? It's like a sub-3 ERA. It's what, 400 innings basically? Over 400 innings. 4 strikeouts to every walk he had. Like, if you put this to the top of your line or second in your rotation, you have one of the best rotations in baseball. But the problem is, he hasn't done that in going on 4 years now. Right? 23, he was all right. Again, he was pitching through injury through some of it, but still. 25, he was terrible. 5.36 ERA. I mean, the FIP was way lower, but still, it's like, Did the Glasnow trade have a... No, I don't think so. We were trying to trade for younger pitcher with years on them because we are trying to add another big bat on top of Bregman. Skubal isn't the right choice right now. So to me, I actually agree. I don't think, as much as Skubal would probably propel the Red Sox into a legitimate championship contender, you need to be putting yourselves in a position to be a contender for years and years and years, right? And I just don't think that Skubal will sign a deal. I just don't. I've seen a lot of Bo Bichette's. The question is, where are you going to put Bichette? Like, he was the worst defensive shortstop in the entire sport this year. I don't want him at shortstop. If you're saying, hey, man, come here to play second base, unless you're going to overpay for him, if you're Bichette, you're like, dude, I'm going to play short. Like, there are going to be teams that offer him to play shortstop. You need a DH. Yeah, but the problem with Bo Bichette is, again, if you're a 28-year-old, 28-year-old looking for it, yeah, you're not going to put Bo, but you're not going to sign a contract to be a DH going forward, right? You want him at the corners? Well, Bichette definitely wouldn't go to a first baseman, I don't think. Like, the fielding run value is terrible. The outs above average is terrible. The arm strength isn't good either. Right? Like, the arm strength is kind of bad. So I don't know that I trust him over at third base either. He was decent last year, but the arm strength's never been great. Right? Like, it's always been in this sort of 30th percentile. And usually you want to be at least, like, here. I wonder what Bregman's was this year. Like, what was the arm strength? So, like, yeah, see what I mean? And there were some issues this year with Bregman, too, defensively, where, he wasn't making a ton of errors in terms of picking up the ball. He's making some errors throwing the ball. How many errors did he have this season? Does it say on this? No. There he is. He had 9 errors this season. Is that right? Errors. Yeah, 9 errors this season. With another pitcher, this team could have had 100-plus wins to play good before July. Yeah, I don't think you're totally wrong. David Hamilton? Yeah, David Hamilton will be traded. Bringing Bo Naylor. Is Bo Naylor a free agent? So the problem with saying, oh, we need another catcher, is you have to trade for one. And if you're going to trade for anyone this offseason, in my opinion, it should be allocating resources to your two biggest needs, which is either a power bats or a number 2 starting pitcher, right? To sit here and say, hey man, we're gonna use some of this prospect capital to go get a backup catcher. Oh, how did someone already sign? How did someone already sign? And what is this? Well, you look at this catching list, dude. It is not good. Right? It's just flat out not good. There's no one in here that I'm immediately like, yeah, they are going to definitively be better than Connor Wong. Right? There just isn't anybody here. Danny Jansen, nope, tried that before, didn't work out. JT Realmuto, you have to pay like $12 million, probably at least $10 million to be a backup, and he was. I mean, dude was okay, right? But is it worth $10 million? Trade Mazda for Harry Ford? Dude, there's no way. How is Harry Ford still one of the top prospects for yeah, he's got to be. Why would 2024 come up? Doesn't matter. We're here. Is he still a top 100 prospect? Probably not, right? Mariners. Yeah, he's a number 42 prospect in baseball. Why would they trade the number 42 prospect in baseball for Masataka Yoshida? It's just not going to happen. These guys got to make some damn trades, dude. Holy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players in the top 100. Brother, pick up the phone, Seattle. Connor Wong was heating up towards the end of the season. No reason to trade him. To me, it just doesn't make sense to allocate any resources to it. Right? Could we give Zach Gallen a contract like Bregman, but less AAV? His last 2 or 3 months were good. Were they good? That's the question. Were they? Where are you? Splits 2025. Platoons, first, second half by month here. Let's see. I wouldn't say they were good. I mean, August was really great. September, October, Oh, that's going to make me cough. I don't know why I did that. Can't forget about Patrick Sandoval. I don't have crazy high hopes for Patrick Sandoval, to be honest with you. The Red Sox have been kind of unlucky when it comes to signing those injured players outside of Giolito. But Giolito wasn't injured when we signed him. So, what was the second thing I was going to talk about? Oh. If you have not seen the news yet, Shota Managa, the Cubs denied their club option, which gave him a player option. He took the player option, so now he's a free agent. It's a little bit of a convoluted thing, but moral of the story is he's going to be on the open market. Is this somebody you are looking to have the Red Sox go after? I'm a little bit torn on this one. I think, one, we know that Imanaga is going to be... Did I say his name wrong? Shota Imanaga. One, we know that he is going to be a solid pitcher, right? Even like this was kind of a down year for him, and it was still a sub-3 ERA, right? My question is this going to be a guy who's good? You know that sometimes lefties are bad at Fenway, especially slop-throwing lefties. He's a little bit of a slop-throwing lefty, right? Also, Bregman is gone. Why? Why have we come to that conclusion, Slow? Because of Buster or because of Jim Bowden's report? Brother, I'm going to need you. If you are going off the very first report of the year, Slow, the offseason might not be for you. Yeah, that's the other thing. Video game. That's what I was gonna bring up second. Was you go to this ground ball rate, dude? It is lowest of low in baseball. Right? There are barely any other pitchers who have less ground balls than Shota Managa. That's what scares me. Now, you go to 2024, it looks a little bit better, right? Fastball is much more valuable. Off speed's unbelievably valuable. Raw pinto bean. Fantastic name, by the way. I had some pinto beans for dinner. $2 super chat. He said, can we get Murakami and re-sign Bregman? Raw, let me introduce you to somebody. You might like Murakami. Let me introduce you to I think that's how you spell it. Yep. Let me introduce you to Kasuda Okamoto. This is a guy who hits, where is it? Let's take a look ski here. Constantly hitting 30 home runs since he was 22 years old. Outside of this season, but he only played 77 games. Strikes out a whole lot less. Whole lot less than Murakami. A little bit older, I'll give you that. But a whole lot less than Murakami with better defense. This, if we're going to talk about anybody from Japan, this is the player we should be signing. This should absolutely be the player we should be signing. Murakami's a risk, right? To me, Murakami's great for a team that you know, has the ability to platoon him or has the ability to sit him down for a little bit. The Red Sox, if they're going to sign a guy like that, you got to play him every day, right? So, especially because Kazuma, you could ultimately, if you end up trading Masataka Yoshida and Casas does get healthy and performs the way that we know Casas can do with points, you could platoon those guys, especially if you have the DH spot open. So, personally, if we're going to talk about this guy here, Murakami, you got to look at Kazuma, dude. Kazuma's a dog. Can Sandoval become a left-handed relief pitcher we need? Huh. I didn't think about that, Leonardo. It's a decent point. It's a genuinely decent point. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. Mind you, every of the Sox are about $204 million of a non-tender. Yeah, that's correct. Straight for Ohtani? Oh, see that? Yeah, there we go. They were talking about Kyle Tucker today at 98.5 on their wish list. Yeah, dude. If you're a Red Sox fan and you don't want Kyle Tucker, I don't know what you're on. I mean, look at this baseball savant page, right? Like, this is ridiculous. He's not a great defender, but really good. Like, he would be a good left fielder at Fenway Park. He would be. If you moved him over to left field and your outfield was Tucker, Cedon, Roman Anthony, brother, you would have one of the best outfields in baseball, both offensively and defensively, and that's just without Cedon Rafaela doing anything, right? Like, this to me, if you were going to make any drastically big moves this offseason and you don't want to bring back Bregman and you want to go big, this is who you go big for. This is who you go big for. Right? Like, he's probably going to be a $400 million contract, but he's only 28 years old. So you're still getting 2 years of his prime. And this is the type of guy that's going to age pretty well. Right? He'll probably age into a DH type role, but he's a walks guy. He's a walks guy. He's a low strikeout guy. He's a no chase guy, right? Those guys age really, really well. So I like, dude, yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you're going to make one giant move this offseason, it needs to be Kyle Tucker. Murakami, $2 super chat again. Brother, I appreciate these very, very much. Thank you so much. Just to let you know, you don't need to donate. You don't need to donate for me to look at the chats. But I really, really appreciate it anyways, Pinto. Thank you. Murakami's ceiling's unmatched. Yeah, no. What the heck did I just look up? No one look at that. I just looked up FAN by accident. FNA. So if you can get this Murakami right here, this 2021 Murakami, I'd agree, right? If you could get that on your team, you're a whole lot better. The problem with this is that this happened over the course of a 3-year period, right? It was this 20 rage season and then 22. And then after 22, it's been about 30% since then. And that's what scares me right here, is that there's been no adjustments. Right? There's been no adjustments. And you look at that, it's not like, so like this was his best year, was 2022. Right? I mean, the dude hit 56 home runs, set the record, whatever. 225 WRC plus. He was unbelievably better than any other hitter in the entire sport. Like, if you could get that, yeah, of course you're right. This is a way higher ceiling. But you look at it and you say, well, what are we doing here, right? All of a sudden, the averages is 256, 244. And he's still a well above average producer because of the fact that he's hitting 30 home runs. But again, we talked about this in the video a bit. The difference between Japanese and Major League Baseball is shrinking a lot. But there's still a difference, right? And we saw it with Masa. We saw it with Suzuki for a bit. We saw it with even Ohtani for a little bit. And Ohtani is just a completely different player, by the way. But these guys, you see them strike out a bit more. You see the power go down just a little bit. So if all of a sudden he gets to Major League Baseball and he's a 33% strikeout guy with, let's say, 27 home runs for the first 3 years until he finds his rhythm here, is that worth the contract? I don't know. Let's hear my starting 5 and lineup for 2026. So I made a video about what I think my starting lineup is going to look like in 26. I do kind of want to save my starting 5 for a video, but I'll give you a hint here. Skeet. I mixed up ski and yeet. I would say my starting 5 definitively has one addition to it. I think a lot of the additions to the Red Sox lineup or rotations going to be internal. I think ideally, right, you'd want him to add 2 and have all these guys fight for the last one. But I do think we see the Red Sox put a lot of faith in Early, and I do think we see the Red Sox put a lot of faith in Hunter Dobbins. So to me, there's only going to be one major addition, and it's not going to come from the free agent market, I don't think. Yeah, that's the big difference, Michael. Is these guys don't Kazuma handles high velocity fastballs much better than Murakami does. Dude, I'm so sick of people. Why do you care about it being a cost-effective decision? Genuinely. Polar Bear Pete does have some interest in Boston. Does he? Where did we read that? Oh, is this where we got it? If this is it, my God, you know. Duran has a solid sign for another year. Wish they would sign him for 2 or 3 years. I think they're setting him up to trade him. If Boris is demanding like 30 plus, they absolutely will. He will get $30+ million. And the problem with saying that is, okay, then who are you willing to give $30+ million to? Like, what's the player, right? That's genuinely my question to all of this is, if you are not willing to give Bregman $30 million a year, who are you willing to give $30 million a year to? That's also a good point, Raymond. Where do I see Toley next season? I think the Red Sox hold on to Toley unless the perfect deal comes about. But even with the perfect deal, I think there's just so much raw talent there that the Red Sox specifically, um, believe in the talent much more than other teams might. You know what I mean? So I see him as a reliever for 26 and then transitioning into a starter for 27. Oh, brother, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that video game. I'm terrible with names, and that one's a tough one. Tatsuya Ime. Is that right? I mean, I'd obviously be interested in this guy. Obviously, right? High strikeouts, low walks, ground ball rate solid. Is he a lefty or a righty? He's a righty. He's gonna be posted. I mean, dude had the best year of his career this year. Is he? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so he's eligible for a big contract. Yeah, feels like this feels like the most Dodgers pickup of all time. You know what I mean? Yeah, slow. See, I'm not doing that. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. Say Don Rafaela into second base ever again. That dude was the best defensive player in baseball in center field. Like we're gonna sit here and be like, just to keep Jaron Duran on this team, we're gonna move the best defensive player in the entire sport to second base. No. If you get Kyle Tucker, like, I'm perfectly fine trading Jaron Duran. Perfectly fine. I'll make the deal myself if I have to. Right? You would outfield a Tucker, Duran. Like I talked about this. I talked about this in my lineup prediction video, right? If you can trade away Masataka Yoshida, and then you trade Duran for legitimate number one, number two starting pitcher, and all of a sudden you've got this sort of rotating cast of Willier, Kyle Tucker, Roman Anthony, and Cedon Rafaela all in the outfield. It's absolute cinema. I mean, dude, you are going to have the best outfield in baseball by a long shot. By a long shot. It's going to be incredible. See, Ryan, I'm kind of opposite you. I don't think the Red Sox give Christian Campbell a set I don't think they give him a set position. Like to me, if I'm the Red Sox, one, they couldn't figure out where he was playing in AAA. He was playing first base, he was playing second base, he played some third base, he was playing mostly outfield down in AAA, right? Two, like if your goal, and the Red Sox talked about this, like Breslow talked about this himself. You can't expect all of these players to take a step forward, right? So to me, in an ideal world, you have enough talent that you brought into this roster that Campbell becomes this sort of utility juggernaut. Where once a week he's playing second base, once a week he's playing first base, twice a week he's playing the outfield. Like to me, that's where he's going to be the most impactful. And then obviously throughout a season, people get hurt, guys perform worse. I mean, we saw with Narvaez and Wong this year, right? Wong came into the season as a starting catcher for the Boston Red Sox. He had an injury and then 2 weeks of bad play, and all of a sudden Narvaez is taking over the league. And I could see that happening with Campbell and someone on this team, but to me, I don't think it's the right move. It's like the Tristan Casas conversation where like Casas has the talent, but he's just been so injured. Right? So I don't know. Like I sit there with that and I'm like, it's a little nerve-wracking here. Robert Suarez for sure more than Edwin Diaz. 1,000% here. Hold on. I gotta send a file to my brother. We're making something for Actually, I don't know if my dad's on here, so I'm not going to say anything, but let me go here, file, save a copy, computer. Sorry, chap. This is the last thing. This is the last thing you want to be watching right now, but we got to get this done before Friday. If only Class A didn't get sent to the Shadow Realm for gambling, yeah. Oh, for sure, Michael. And this isn't me saying that Christian Campbell should be a utility player for like next year is like a demotion of Christian Campbell. My point is it's just where the Red Sox are right now. It feels like they really need to have a set lineup that they can rely on almost every single day, right? You're always going to have platoon guys. You're always going to have positions that you're platooning in. But let's talk about last season platoon-wise, right? You ended up with first base ended up being a platoon. Second base ended up being a platoon. Third base was a platoon. During the time that you lost Alex Bregman, right field was a bit of a platoon. Left field was a little bit of a platoon. I mean, Durant couldn't hit lefties for the life of them. Right, so you sit there with that, and it's like, how can we minimize that? How can we get some guys in here like Story who are going to play 157 games? I think Anthony's an answer to that. I think obviously a healthy Trevor Story's going to be an answer to that. I think Narvaez is an answer to that a bit. I don't know. They only have 3 full-time players right now: Roman, Rafael, and Story. Meyer will probably be one, but they need a lot of help, and Campbell is the solution. To be honest with you, I don't even know that I would give you 100% Rafael is going to be here next year. And I definitely wouldn't give you Marcel Meyer. As much as Marcel Meyer might end up being my favorite player in the Red Sox in 26, I wouldn't guarantee that Marcel is here either. But Ryan, here's the problem I run into. Where do you put Christian Campbell on the everyday roster playing every day? What do you do? Actually, didn't you already answer that? You want him in the outfield? Is that what you were saying? One second, chop. Left field. So how do you get him into left field every single day? What do you do? Health will decide. That's in my opinion too. First base, the Red Sox kind of didn't play him a lot at first base after a few weeks at first base. It sounded like they weren't incredibly encouraged by what he was looking like at first base. Which, to be honest with you, is fair, right? He never really played third base at all. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, there we go. Right field DH, second base, first base. He played 32 games over there, had 4 errors. But again, first time playing first base, so I don't know first base. The problem is first base is a prime spot for you to be able to add a lot of home run power. So I also said Jorge Polanco as my official prediction for the Red Sox to pick up this offseason in free agency. I had him more as like a DH sort of rotation, once in a while rotate into the infield type player though. I wouldn't put Jorge Polanco every day at second base. He's just not a good defender, right? And the goal is to get better. And I talked about it in today's video, right? If you can have Story at second base, Marcel Meyer at shortstop, which it feels unrealistic a bit, but I just I don't know. I sit here with the idea of Trevor Story, and look at we got to look at this because I feel like people don't believe me still. Like, first and foremost, what was it, 22? Look at that defense or outs above average. He was one of the best in the entire sport. Like, give this guy second base. Right? Like if you just give this guy the reign, not only is this going to extend his career, it's going to make the Red Sox infield significantly better. What's up, versatility? Polanco isn't leaving Seattle, in your opinion? What's his contract with? What's his official contract with Seattle? Is there like a? Is that spelled right? I feel like that doesn't spell right. It is. Okay. So they took the buyout? Was it a club option? They took the buyout? Breakdown, does it give it to me? It sure doesn't. Graph breakdown? Where do I go to just get the latest contract? By the way, is Jorge Soler still playing baseball? I haven't heard his name in a while. So it's a mutual option for 26, and they obviously, someone didn't take it, right? Yeah, so he became a free agent. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, he would definitely, I think he would hit. What was his splits lefty versus righty here in 25? He's very good. I know against both sides here. Let me see. So he's definitely worse. He was better as a right-handed hitter. I'm just saying, I think that'd be really good at Fenway Park. Probably to trade Duran and Abreu. I would just sign Tucker and roll out Roman, Anthony, Rafael, and Tucker. I mean, that's what I would do too. That's legitimately. I would be totally okay with trading away Duran and Abreu if you are going to sign Kyle Tucker. I'd be perfectly fine with it. And if you're not, I don't know what to tell you, to be honest with you. It absolutely was an arm strength issue, Michael. Look at this. Look at the arm strength. Like, not great. Not great at all. So yeah, absolutely was an arm issue. All right. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about this live stream was the idea. What do you guys think about the idea of Cody Bellinger? Like we're talking about like a Kyle Tucker type. Belly had such a resurgent year, dude. That I sit there with him and I'm like, he could play first base. He could play first base for sure. You know, played 152 games this year, 29 home runs, almost 100 RBIs, 125 OPS plus. He is a lefty. I don't know if that changes too much. Usually power. I don't care what side he came from. And I think he hit lefties better than righties. This is my only concern right here. Is that metrically it felt like it felt almost like I play 81 games in a sandbox type thing. You know? You know, like the average velocity down, the barrel rate down, the hard hit down. Sweet spot was up, that's good. Squared up was up, that's good. Bat speed was real low. Right, you look at these home runs, it's not like they were crushed. I mean, some of them. I'm gonna get copyright striked. Like, how far do we think some of these went? My issue more so with Cody Bellinger, and this is why I wanted to bring him up. This is why I wanted to bring him up to you guys, because I think it's gonna be pretty split as to like what the answer is gonna be. Like so they're saying he's worth like 30 mil. They're putting him in the same conversation with Devers and Bregman and Pete Alonso. I don't know, man. I don't think it'll be 6 years. Do you? How old is he now? He's got to be in his 30s, right? Yeah, this will be his age 30 season. All right, let me ask you the question. Would you give, would you give Cody Bellinger, let's say, 5 years, $150 million to be your first baseman / I could play the outfield? He bailed on the Dodgers. Didn't he get traded from the Dodgers? Didn't the Dodgers trade him? No, he didn't get traded from the Dodgers. I don't care. I don't care if he left the team or not, but so that's sort of what he's being projected. 5 years, 150 mil. Yes, I will quickly. No, you won't. That's too much and too long. Would love Bellinger. I'm out on Bellinger. This is hilarious. You know what I mean? This is hilarious because it's literally this is what I was saying. Like there's going to be so much just split down the middle on Cody Bellinger. Or if you get this Bellinger, it might be worth it, especially for a guy who could play elite defense at first. But I mean, what was the defense? I mean, defensive run saved at first base, a little bit tough, but let me just see overall what he's like at first base here. I mean, he's an above average. He's a really good defensive run saved. He's a really good first baseman. So let me ask you this, versatility. If Naylor's your guy, and I've seen Josh Naylor a lot, if Naylor's your guy, what is the difference in your mind between signing, let's say, Josh Naylor to a 5-year deal and signing Bellinger to a 5-year deal? Like, what in your opinion would be the big difference? Because I don't know that he's that great at first base. Let me see. Yeah, he's not a great defensive first baseman. Age, he's only a year younger. He's only 1 year younger. So I don't know if that has too much to do with it. Probably wouldn't be your first choice. Yeah, I don't think Bellinger would be anyone's first choice, but I mean, he would fill a lot of holes. Do I remember when Bellinger threw a ball into the? I actually don't remember that. Have I seen any consistency out of Bellinger? That's a fair point. That's a fair point for sure. I mean, to be fair to your point, since 24, he's had a what? I mean, the one thing, all right, so I'm including the 2021 season, which I shouldn't because he only played like 69 games, nice. But I don't know why this isn't loading. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I mean, yeah, he was solid. The thing with Naylor that throws me off is just the defense. I think that's it. Outside of that, I think I'd like him. My other problem is, what does he look like left on left? Because again, I'm not looking for platoon guys. I'm sick of. Oh, I've already looked this up. Have we already had this conversation, chat? Where'd it go? He's not great against lefties, but he definitely still swing it. He was a bit of a platoon guy against lefties in where'd he end up? Arizona, and then where? Oh, Seattle. This worries me a bit that he was a bit of a platoon guy for a lefty last year. He's staying in Seattle for sure. So is Seattle just retaining everybody? Because this kind of drives me nuts about Red Sox fans, where they're like, oh, these guys they're all going to pay. These teams are all going to pay, but the Red Sox aren't. When the Mariners have historically been worse at paying their own players than the Red Sox have been. Is Roman or Crochet playing in the WBC? I hope both skip. Meaningless. Nah, the WBC's sick. Did we see a lot of injuries in the WBC last year, like significant ones? I don't think we did. Is it Crochet? Is it Crochet pitching for USA 2026? WBC roster. Oh no, there've only been 4 players who've officially announced. Judge, right? Cal. I can never pronounce his last name correctly. Paul Skeens and Bobby Witt Jr. Dude, the USA might be a dog. Low key, USA might be a dog. They might be a wagon. How about Ryan O'Hearn? I know. I'm good on Ryan O'Hearn. I am all set on Ryan O'Hearn, dude. He was good last year, don't get me wrong, but he went to the Padres and just, I mean, barely. Cal Raleigh. Caleb Raleigh? Yeah, that's tough. Like to me, O'Hearn, if he had continued this production, this right here, into San Diego, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, this might be a dog, but I just don't know about him. Especially because you've got other guys in the market. That'd be so much more impactful. Get Trout on a discount. We're not doing this again, dude. We cannot have this Trout conversation with the Red Sox again. I can't do it. I can't do it. What's my biggest deep cut trade or signing this year? Like one that I don't think anyone's expecting. For the Red Sox? Ooh, good question. Ha-Seong Kim, I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing the Red Sox with him. Ranger Suarez, another guy. I think the Red Sox could show some interest in. Not a lot of people are talking about. The other Robert Suarez is absolutely a guy the Red Sox should be interested in. Absolutely a guy the Red Sox should be interested in. Brandon Woodruff, how is he a free agent? Corbin's allergic to Trout? Yeah, I am. I'm absolutely allergic to Trout. Do I think Pete Alonso's a real possibility for the Sox? Everyone should be a possibility for this team, right? Everyone should be. I don't know how interested the Red Sox are going to be in Pete Alonso. Like he should be someone of interest for the Red Sox. I don't know how much of an interest he will have. In terms of a trade, deep cut trade's interesting. That's what I thought too. That's what I thought, versatility. But this is saying he's a free agent. I don't know. Deep cut trade. Jared Jones is a guy that I know the Red Sox were very interested last year. That I think comes up again this year. Free agency does officially start tomorrow, right? Yeah, when did the World Series end? It's just 5 days from the day after the end of the World. Oops, I did not mean to bookmark that. No, unbookmark, remove. Oh, okay, versatility. See, I'm confused. I'm okay, Chad. When is your official 2025? When you say the 2025 season, you start to say last year. Is it literally like, to me it's when the season ends, but a lot of people say this year and talk about 2025. Trade for Neto? I've seen a lot of Zach Neto conversations. I don't know how much I'd be like, yes, you need to get this guy and put him at third base is what you're saying? Like he did really well this year, and I think he would have had more RBIs if the Angels had a better offense. But he's a huge strikeout guy. I mean, look at this. 149 strikeouts to just 33 walks. And I don't think he's that great defensively either. Meyer to third base. Dude, this isn't going to be an upgrade over I don't know that this is an upgrade over Bregman. It's younger, which is great. It's cheaper, which is great. But how is this an upgrade over Bregman? That's what I'm saying, versatility. It's the day after the World Series ends. So I think technically ESPN says free agency is November 5th at 6 or November 6th at 5 p.m. Hold on. Does MLB free agency start? Let's find out, shall we? All right. Okay, here we go. 5 days after. So, yeah, it's Thursday, November 6th at 5 p.m. There's your answer. Yamamoto panned out fast. Dude, Yamamoto is going to be such a gigantic thorn in the entire sports side for the rest of the next 10 years. That guy is going to be a dog. Roki Sasaki, I thought, looked solid in the postseason, too. Like, good Lord. We have to have Nick Kurtz at first base. Dude, I would give my left leg for Nick, but there's no way the Athletics do that. And I think in order to get Kurtz here, you would need to trade Roman Anthony. Like, genuinely, I think that's where the conversation starts. If you're, although I don't know that the Athletics would want that contract. Kurt. He doesn't have a ton of value, which I kind of shocking. Is he under? Oh no, salary $72 million. Okay. Did he didn't sign a deal? Did he? Imanaga interested? Yes, interested. No, not my number one target. Does that make sense, Brett? I'm not sure right now about the Bo Bichette business, but the infield defense would be a problem if we had him in Story. Agreed. I think Story opting in kind of, unless you trade Marcelo Meyer, which I really, like, to me, I don't think the Red Sox deal Marcelo. I really don't. What are you doing in here, Misty? The door's closed. Kim is a free agent. That'd be a good defensive replacement. It would, but, like, to me, Ha-Seong Kim, where'd he go? There he is. There's so many good starting pitching options. We can really screw it up. We can't really screw it up. Please, Green, Cease, King, Randy, Merrill Kelly, Managa, Woodruff, Ryan, Valdez, Suarez, maybe Peralta. Also Dobbins, etc. Yeah. Do I think Bregman actually leaves? I would say right now, my answer is it's 60% Bregman comes back, 40% Bregman leaves. That's where I'm at right now. I wouldn't be shocked either way, to be honest with you. Again, it's a conversation of Bergman, I don't know. It's a conversation of, I think the Red Sox have themselves. It's again, I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. It's the same conversation you had with Xander Bogaerts, right? You have a limit, and that's what you're going to spend up to. And if it gets past that limit, they're going to say we're good. Now, $10-20 million over that limit, I think they match that. But once you get into the $50-100 million over, or even $30 or $40 million over, I think the Red Sox say, you know what, dude, good luck. Right? And so to me, that I wouldn't say that it's a high likelihood that Bregman leaves. I don't think there are going to be a ton of teams knocking on his door for a 6-year deal. I just don't, right? I think there are going to be teams that are looking at the 5-year. I think there are going to be teams who are going to offer him 6 years, but I don't think it's going to be very many. I think it'll be 2, maybe 3. And I don't think the Red Sox are one of them to go to 6 years. Unless it's like a mutual option or a team option for that 6th year. Or it's one of those sort of like Trevor Story type options, right? How about this tier? Meyer, Abreu, Tolley, Blaze for Kurtz. Would that get it done? No, I don't think so. I don't know, dude. Kurtz is gonna waltz away with the Rookie of the Year voting. The A's are a couple good pitchers away from being a legitimate winning team. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Do I think those Sox can survive off their depth slash young players if worst case scenario happens and get no one of substance? I think it's possible. I think it's really dumb. I mean, Johnny up here is listing all of the guys that are available right now, and some of these guys, one, it's only going to cost talent, and two, they're not going to be incredibly expensive. Like if you just come out with like Merrill Kelly, right, or just Imanaga, or just Woodruff, or whoever. Like I sit there with that, and it's like even if you don't want to spend $200-300 million on a pitcher here, you could spend $100 million and get yourself a really solid bare minimum number 3, right? I mean, ideally you should be looking for a number 2, but if you're confident in Bayo or Early or Dobbins, or I don't think Dobbins really is the makeup to be a number 2 pitcher, but he certainly is a major league starting pitcher. Let's talk about who will replace Wilson in the pen. You want my official prediction, Nick? My official prediction is that the player that replaces Wilson in the bullpen is someone already on this team. And I think it's Peyton Tolley. I think the Red Sox are going to hold on to Peyton Tolley like their life depends on it this offseason. Because one, they know what he could develop into, and two, he's not fully developed yet, and I think he could be a really good relief pitcher. I think Bregman wants to stay, but it depends on the Sox ante up. Yeah, I do think the Red Sox are going to be I do think the Red Sox are going to be fairly aggressive with Bregman. I think they're going to be pretty aggressive with I think they're going to be aggressive in the offseason in general. I'm just curious to see how they actually land them. Is there hope for Jordan Hicks? I'll be honest with you, I got no hope for Jordan Hicks. Let's see, do you want to leave? I have absolutely no hope for Jordan Hicks. Like he Agreed, Purple, agreed. You know what drives me crazy is that while Bregman was injured, he was like, yeah, I'd love to talk extension. And Boris was like, yeah, we'd love to talk extension. There was just nothing beyond that. Right? There were no reports of the Red Sox talking to him or his representation. There was nothing. And it drives me crazy. But I absolutely agree. You lost a ton of leverage trading Devers. I also think in terms of public perspective, too, you lost a lot of leverage, right? I mean, you go into 2026. You go into 2026 and you don't have Bregman, you don't have Devers. You're sitting there and you're like, we're going to have Marcelo at third base. And we signed Kazuma and we called it a day. Like, did your offense really get better? I don't know. I personally, I don't think so. I don't think so, Steven. Let me see what you're talking about. No. Projected here. That was a projected. I really thought after those reports and Carabas kind of talking about it, we had some news moving, and so sad it was nothing. It really is Bogarts all over again. Dude, I've been saying this all stream, and people who've been here the entire time, I'm sorry. You've heard this 100 times already. It is, I said it right at the beginning of stream, Purple, that the similarities between Bogarts and Bregman are kind of remarkable. I will say the difference, though, is that Bregman was like, yeah, I'll talk about an extension. Xander spent the entire season being like, Henry, just market value extension for 4 years. I'm all yours, right? He said it to the media. He said it to Heim. He said it to everybody. And then he left, right? That's the difference. But I will say the conversation is exactly the same, right? A little bit of an aging player, a conversation about whether or not he's going to be worth it over the long haul, a veteran, legitimate leader of this team, the face of a franchise. Now that Bregman was the best player on the team, but he's the guy you go to when they lose, right? The Red Sox lost in the postseason. The first interviews were Story and Bregman. They weren't Crochet. They weren't... they weren't Roman Anthony. It was, although Roman Anthony was hurt, so it's a little bit different. But it was Story and Bregman, right? And it's the same conversation about his free agency, where it's like the Red Sox should bring him back. It feels like the Red Sox are going to bring him back, but they have a limit, and who knows? All it takes is one Padres to come in there and say, "Hey, man, we're going to offer you way more than anybody else is going to offer you." Does Breslow regret the Devers trade if Bregman leaves? I think Craig Breslow regretted the Devers trade a month after he made it. And I don't think he's ever going to admit that. And I'm whispering that because people always come at me for saying that trade wasn't all that fantastic, even though they won more games without him. I think that was more circumstance of the actual team itself than the difference between Rafael Devers being in that clubhouse and not. So anyways, how about the Pete Alonso coming to the Red Sox soon? No, not soon. I think there's a world in which the Red Sox go after Pete Alonso. I don't know that. It's definitely going to be a longer free agency. Dude, how many Boris clients, does it tell me on Spotrac who their agents are? Dude, this AI overview is going to put out so much misinformation over the course of this year. Like Mackenzie Gore being in there is what are we doing? Is Jack Flaherty even oh, here we go. Nice. MLB agents, Scott Boras. Okay. Does it tell me whether I could just probably go down and tell you? No. There's no free agent. Masataka, I forgot Masataka Yoshida was a Boris guy. There's not a single free agent on here. What are we doing? You think he goes back to the Mets? Corbin, the misinformation fountain. Yeah, Eric, what's been my misinformation? Let's have some fun tonight. What's been this misinformation? Corbin, so chemistry of a team doesn't matter. I don't think, and I listen. This is gonna be a hot take. I think Devers had a negative effect on the clubhouse. I think he did. I don't think that trade was about the chemistry of this team. I think this trade was about the chemistry between the player and the front office / ownership. That's my hot take. Corbin and everyone, wish me luck. Hey, good luck, Steven. Good luck. Like I don't think the players saw Rafael Devers as a true hindrance to their ability to play the game. I don't. Right? And to be honest with you, we know this because Trevor Story talked about it, where he was genuinely like, I was shocked. Right? Why did they do that? Right? If Story's been to be fair, even when he's been injured, he's been sort of central point of the Red Sox clubhouse, right? And he was shocked about it. Duran was shocked about it, right? I don't think he was a hindrance to the Red Sox clubhouse. I don't think the publicity was good for the clubhouse. I'll always admit that. But I don't know. Chemistry can be mixed in several ways. Yeah, for sure. Words were definitely said. Yeah, I was heated. I was so mad. But that's like people get mad at me for my immediate reactions to things like that. Like, would you rather I be an unbiased journalist? I feel like that's just kind of boring, man. That's not why I started this channel, right? I'm never going to be a journalist. I'm never going to have that inside information. I'm never going to look at, and I do try to be pretty neutral about things, to be fair. To be fair, I try to look at both sides. If I make a video, I look at things from both sides, but I'll always have an opinion because at the end of the day, I am nothing more than you guys, right? Any one of you guys could come up here and put yourself in front of the camera and make a video and probably be similar, you know? Breslow didn't like being so outwardly disrespected by Devers. I think that was part of it. I ultimately think it was the I ultimately think it was the owners. I think it was the owners' ego. I don't know that it was Breslow specifically. I for sure think Breslow absolutely. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Best joke of the evening. Eric, what are we doing in here tonight? We're just coming in towards the end of the stream, too. Duran, Romero, and Clark for Joe Ryan. Yeah, that probably gets it done, I'd imagine. To be honest, I think the conversation, I've said this before, I think the conversation between Abreu and Duran, and really say Don Rafaela too, is going to be where teams are in the rebuilding process. Like, to me, Duran is more of a, we need a piece to get us to that next level. Whereas Williers, like you could see the expectations, you can see the talent. It's starting to come through. We think there's more to build on. And so I don't know, right? I think there's a little bit of a difference between the way they look. So to me with the Twins, I think Cedon or Williers more appealing, at least in my opinion, than Jarren Duran. It's going to be a nuclear day, you dude. Yeah. Jarren Duran there are very, very, very few players in baseball that have like such an avid fan base of people that love him to the point where they ignore everything wrong about him, and a fan base that hates him so passionately they ignore everything good about him. Right? I genuinely, I don't think have we ever seen a player like, I mean, Tristan Casas, I think, is kind of similar. And I'll be honest with you, I was on the poop and sunshines and rainbows about Tristan Casas for a long time. Oh, my cat wants to get out. Hold on. I know. Come on. Come on. Abreu used to play on an Astros affiliate team in my city. Oh, that's cool. MVP of Boston, May or Roman? It depends, dude. If May stays healthy the entire year and they go on a postseason run, it's May. Just because Roman wasn't healthy. Casas is the evil Duran? What? Got to be opposite side of the fan base? No, I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same fans. Yeah, you guys know what I'm saying, but it's just interesting. I appreciate that, Kenneth. Thank you. It is interesting. I will say hit tracks does lead to more strikeouts than walks. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember 3 years ago, Fran would have traded Duran for a bucket of balls. Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, it's true, right? It's true, absolutely. But then you have a season where you're, where did Duran finish in MVP voting in 24? And again, I said this at the beginning of stream with Duran. It's like, fourth. It was eighth in MVP voting. You know, they're weirdos about like really weird people about the Duran thing. But I think for the most part, a lot of fans love Duran because he's relatable in terms of like the struggles he's gone through with his mental health, and then just sort of the everyday battles he goes through, with his performance. I think a lot of people relate to that. I mean, we're doing a whole Movember Foundation campaign month this month, and we've done it for the last 3 years because there's such a stigma around men's mental health. But I also think the ability for him to stay 3 hours after games and sign autographs, it's created this loyal fan base. But again, that also puts blinders onto, people are like, he's irreplaceable. This is irreplaceable, but I don't think you're really getting this, a 9-WAR player consistently for the next 3 years. You're not going to. You're going to be getting more of this player, which is a very good baseball player. But you have 3 other guys who could potentially do this as well. And I don't know that Cedon will ever be able to get to the point where he's going to be, in this realm in terms of offense. But, I think Willier could absolutely get to this point. Maybe not 13 triples, but he's going to make up for that in doubles and home runs. Roman Anthony should already surpass this in his first couple of months here. right? And these guys are younger and they're under more control and they're cheaper and they're extended, and you know what I mean? Like, so to me, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I see what you mean, purple. Yeah. Did I see Costas' odd Instagram post message? Yeah, he's probably going to be putting a lot of those. May have been a bad trade giving Devers away. However, it opens up the payroll to make a move for the team going forward. If they make that move, yes, Eric. If they don't make that move, the whole conversation about that shifts completely, right? What do you guys think about Bray and Rafaela winning Gold Gloves this year? Good, not good enough. Rafaela needs to have a platinum glove under his belt. Yeah, he plays hard. He's had this incredible journey, I think, that a lot of people relate to, where you're just at the lowest of your lows, you hate the guy, and then you see him rise from the ashes like a phoenix, kind of, you know. So I do think there's some conversations to be had there with Durant. I just personally, like, I don't see him as this irreplaceable player. I just don't, right? Like, Roman Anthony to me is an irreplaceable player. Garrett Crochet, irreplaceable player. Those are really the two only true irreplaceable players in the Boston Red Sox. As much as I love Marcelo and as much as I think he's going to be a good player, I think you could replace him, right? You know, Will, you're a solid guy. I'd say Don, I'd put in close to an irreplaceable player because of his defense, but offensively, you get 100 guys like that. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, my friend. You know what I mean? Like, you could figure out a similar player to a lot of the players that are leaving. I think Durant's in that conversation. Whether or not it's difficult or not is a different story, but I think it's there, right? You trade this guy, you sign a Kyle Tucker or whatever, you immediately replace his production tenfold, at least offensively. Again, I don't think you're going to get a 9-WAR season out of Durant where he had 50 doubles and 14 triples. I just don't see it. I think Garrett Crochet will win a Cy Young this year. No, I think it's Skubal. I think it's gonna be very hard for him to beat Skubal. If Durant stays, it's great, my preference. But if we get a haul for him, you just gotta accept that and move on. I think that's a good way of looking at it. You know what I mean? I think that's a great way of looking at it. I think that's kind of how I look at every outfielder. So it's one or the other. Listen, this is the only time I'm going to say this. If it's between Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman, it is Kyle Tucker 12 times a week. Like, it is Kyle Tucker so much more than Alex Bregman. And I love Bregman. I want Bregman back a lot. I am taking Kyle Tucker every single time. But yeah, the outfield for me, it's all the same. Like Ethan said it. Ethan said it, I think, the best way possible, and I think that's how I look at literally every single outfielder the Red Sox have right now. Where it's like, yeah, my preference is they stay, but if they leave and you get exactly what you needed for this team for them, I understand it. Right? Everyone but Roman Anthony. I think you sit there and you say, I understand it. Is Ketel Marte a realistic option for Boston? I don't see it happening. I don't think it's a perfect fit, both fielding wise. What's his contract? Contract really isn't terrible. Not till 2031. He is 32 years old. I just don't see where he'd fit in. Mostly a second baseman now. Put a little shortstop. $2 super chat from Video Game Nation. He said, Corbin, you're the best. No, you're the best, video game. Thank you so much, man. I got to figure out a way to make sure that you can see that message on the screen. Maybe I'll do text-to-speech chat. Thoughts? So you guys said messaging. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, one thing that I think is going to be a really fun addition to this offseason in terms of these live streams is every once in a while, probably once a month, we're going to do a live stream where you guys get to call into the live stream and give your hot takes. I think that'll be fun. We'll be careful with it, but Does Kyle Tucker have that leadership aspect to him? I don't think so. Probably not, but he's just a better player. He's just simply the better player. Kyle Tucker may be one of the most underrated players in the entire sport, man. Genuinely. And I think he comes to Boston, he really flourishes in terms of star power. Like Houston, yeah, he's pretty star power-ish because they're in the playoffs so much, but the market just wasn't as big. You know, Chicago's a great market, but even Chicago's not. It's quite literally it's LA, New York, it's Boston when it comes to baseball, right? Right now at least. Need the Collins to be the most insane deranged takes on trades this offseason to keep me going. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some real interesting ones. And I am putting your names on screen. Not your full government names, but I'm putting your usernames on stream. So if you say anything bad, I will know and I'll be able to kick you out. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this was a productive stream. I feel like we had some really good chats in this stream. Free agency starts tomorrow. We are getting an answer on the qualifying offer for Lucas Giolito at some point tomorrow. We're gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow, I think. And then this weekend we should start to hear at least the first inclinations as to which way the Red Sox are leaning. Please don't get mad at me when I post videos about the Red Sox being interested in people. That's just, the offseason. They're going to be interested in everybody. So get ready because it's going to be a long offseason. But I think it's going to be a fun one. I appreciate you all being here tonight. Meant a lot to me to have you here. Celtics were playing. There's no real news, so you guys being here is incredible. To everyone who donated, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Tomorrow we'll be back. Probably talk about the Lucas Giolito news. I also want to talk about Conley Early, too, a little bit, because I think that'll be a fun one. Regardless, man, everyone have a good night. Don't forget, if you want to help raise funds for Movember, make sure you guys are clicking the links in the description of these videos. They were also throughout chat all around. One person who donates, if we hit $3,000, is going to get themselves 2 tickets to opening day. So if you have not done that yet, make sure you guys are donating. You don't have to donate $1,000 to enter it. It's just, $2, $3, $5 will get you entered to win those tickets. So make sure you guys are doing that. Great cause. And the longer this stays up, the worse my mustache is going to get. Don't forget how bad it was last year, chat. It was rough. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the